Hi, my name is Giles Hindle and welcome to this video which is going to talk about generic business model. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is try and create a general model which is relevant to all businesses, and I think this is a really good platform to have when you're thinking about performing strategy projects. So why do we want a generic business model? Well, there are thousands of businesses, and obviously all over the world, and they are all unique. They all have their own histories. They all have their own values, different products and services. But they do share certain features which are common to all businesses. And what we're going to try and do in this video is try and identify those common features. The reason for that is that in strategy, it's a good idea to look at the fundamental nature of the business at the start of a strategy project before you get into the detail of the analysis that you would do as part of the project. And I think that's a good idea because when you get into the detail, if you go straight into the detail in a strategy project, it can get quite confusing because making strategy is a difficult thing to do anyway. So I personally like to spend a little bit of time just making sure that I'm clear about the fundamental nature of the business. And also, certainly for me, when I started out doing strategy projects, I found it really empowering to know that you can capture the fundamental nature of any business quite quickly if you've got a good general model of a business. And certainly when I first started out doing strategy projects for the Institute for Entrepreneurship at Lancaster University, I was quite nervous about working with a wide range of different types of business, but quite quickly I realised that actually businesses share a lot of things in common, and I found that really empowering and made me feel a lot better about working with different types of businesses. And sometimes, just a good look at the fundamental nature of the business is all you need to identify strategic issues and generate good ideas for strategy. And also, we spoke about rich pictures in one of the other videos. I think it helps a lot to create rich pictures if you have a basic fundamental idea of a general generic business model. Okay, so let's have a look at what that general model might be. So I think at the heart of all businesses is this idea that you have a business, whether it's a small business or quite a large business unit. That business will be delivering a product or a service to a group of customers. So that's the basic fundamental nature of any sort of business. So the basic notion of doing something for profit, whether it's making products that you can sell or whether it's delivering some kind of a service. And of course, the key idea is that the customers will give you some kind of remuneration. Now, these days, that's normally money. Obviously, in the past, it might have been some kind of exchange, but these days, most businesses operate for money. And of course, for your business to be successful over a period of time, customers are going to need to value the product or service that you're delivering. Otherwise, your business is not going to last very long. So that's the fundamental core concept behind any sort of business. Now, these days, obviously the big companies, the large corporations, and also companies using technology, this basic fundamental relationship can get quite complicated these days through the use of IT, for example, maybe the internet. But fundamentally, you'll find this basic sense of exchange at the heart of all businesses. Now we can add a little bit to that general business model by including people and relationships. So there are always people and relationships involved with any sort of business. So there's going to be an owner or a group of owners. It might be an individual person, or it might be a family, or it might be shareholders. There's always going to be staff. Now that might just be the business owner themselves, or they may actually employ people, and obviously some businesses employ a lot of people. And of course, customers are people, and so there's always going to be a sense of relationship between the business and their customers, and managing that relationship with your customers can be extremely important. Now, obviously, it depends on the business. You know, in some businesses, customer relationships are absolutely fundamental, and if that relationship is not managed well, those customers will leave the business. Sometimes it's not so important. So, for example, if you're on holiday on the beach and you decide to buy a drink from a local shop, then obviously you probably don't even know whose shop that is. So the customer relationship there is not very strong. But it's important to remember that there are people involved. Now, if we take that basic relationship between business and customers and we add this notion of the environment, then that enriches our notion of a generic business model. So the environment affects our business. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not so helpful. It depends what's happening in the environment. Now, of course, in the environment there are many things. So obviously the world might be affecting your business. So if your business is global, of course, then what's happening in the world might be trickling down into your business. Of course, the society within which your business is located will impact your business. The economy, of course, in good times, clearly your business may become more successful. Or reverse. It is actually the case that some businesses do better when the economy is not doing so well. So, for example, supermarkets like Aldi and Lidl tend to do better when the economy is not performing so well. The industry that you're in, of course, there are lots and lots of different types of industries. Now we're going to go into this in more detail on other parts of the module. But of course, the industry that you're in will impact you. So some industries are growing, some industries are more profitable, some industries are dying out. So of course that's relevant to your business. Of course, competitors may be relevant to your business. So some businesses find that they're in intense competition with their rivals. Some businesses are not actually too impacted by their competition for various reasons. We may have suppliers who are bringing raw materials to our business, or they might be supplying us with other services, and they can be really important to the success of our business. Technology has been a pretty constant factor in organizations and businesses over the last really 30 years. But how technology impacts businesses goes right back really to the Industrial Revolution. And of course, friends. Businesses often operate in networks where partners help each other. It might be that you're involved in a network that's really important for the development of your business. So all of those environmental things can impact your business. Now, of course, it's going to be different for every single business. Every business is going to have a unique set of environmental constraints that are acting upon it. But when we're thinking about our strategy, we need to try and be aware of all of those different things. And finally, the last thing that I wanted to talk about was this notion of change over time. So one of the really important features of business is that it's constantly changing. The actual business model that you're using may need to change. Some business models actually stay remarkably consistent over a long period of time. Some change quite rapidly. So it's very interesting to see that variety within business, and it's always going to be important in terms of business management how you deal with that change over time. The story of a business will keep changing as the business adapts and survives within changing environments and changing business models. So it's really important in business to be aware of that, and also to be comfortable with that reality, and be aware that you're constantly going to be facing question marks about what the future holds and where you should be going with your business. And that's a really crucial element of strategy. So you'll see that as we talk about strategy and as we think about strategy, we're always going to have to be facing up to that uncertainty, and also being creative about what's going to happen in the future. So that's a generic business model. I think it's useful to sort of just get that in towards the beginning of any sort of strategy module, just to sort of make sure that we're clear about the fundamentals of a business, and that just helps us to get into the detail of the strategic analysis which comes next. Okay, thanks a lot.